I'm really interested in what you have to say about this record.
Sure. Yeah,
So
I'll pop it
let,
off
let,
first.
let me give a little bit of a backstory about this band. They're
Balance and
band,
composure.
yeah, they're Balancing Composure. The record is The Things We Think We're Missing. It's their second full-length record.
Why don't you flash that EP for us, or that album?
LP.
LP. Sorry, brother.
They have this is their second record. Their first record, which is called Separation, came out before that. That's when I kind of heard about them, kind of stumbled upon them by chance, and got kind of into them. And this record came out real late last year on No Sleep Records, and they're a rock band. They can lean towards the more heavier side or aggressive side, but not like metal or not hardcore. They're very melodic. They have catchy songs and whatnot. But yeah, Michael, what'd you think about the record? Tell me about it.
Well, this I think is one of those records for me that I have to give it multiple chances, because I was doing the first time I listened to it all the way through, I was like doing a task at work, and it was kind of taken away from what I was doing. I'm more of I'll just go ahead and say it up front. I'm not a huge fan of the album. I respect them all as musicians. I think they're talented, but it was just like all the songs sounded the same to me. But then I went back and I read the lyrics. So I actually printed them out on paper in this digital age. And just reading what they have on paper, it's just like, wow. But I mean, a lot of it, for me, I guess overall, I could say it about a lot of songs. It's too whiny for me. It's just like too whiny and complaining, and just my heart is bleeding on every song. I could pretty much say that for every song I listen to, is that it's just like, oh, I'm so sad. This girl just broke my heart. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so sad. But for me, I'd rather be like, worst than ever loved us, worst behavior, like something that's confident. It's like, yeah, I'm confident. I can do this. But this one is just more like violin, wah, 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 wah. But beautiful lyrics. Tiny raindrops. I'll take you on a drive by gardens filled with mirrors. It's like, wow. That is a crazy line there. That is some imagery. Laid back, eyes open wide, through alleys we're disappearing. Come close, stay far. I'll be your tiny raindrop. I'll fall down now. You left me feeling shameful. Even if I could never let you know. So come with me, I'll buy you a raincoat. Stay with me, I'm sick of the shameful. Head of mine, I'm lost in all its tangles. It's just a lot of the language. It's very poetic, the language in this. Just talking about the girl, and it just puts that image of cuddling in a bed and being tangled up and this and that. Just a lot of things that you get from good poetry. Musically, I noted Parachutes. I think that was my favorite song on the album, just musically and lyrically.
The opening track.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Parachutes to break my fall, tangled up in deeper thought, makes falling faster, I'm falling faster. I found you inside of a dream, spinning in circles magically. That part's kind of weird. It's like, wait, she's in a dream just spinning in circles? It's just like, okay. I kind of get where they're going with that, but I liked it. I liked the beat. I respect them as musicians. Some other songs I noted that I liked the lyrics to was Lost Your Name. I need a place, need a taste, need someone so whole and clean. I need a spark. I need your spark to light this house so dark and deep. And it's just like, I thought those were beautiful lyrics. I lost my head, lost my heart, cast in iron, it will heat. I guess the biggest problem I had with this album is, and it's nothing with the album, it's just words. I'm a word guy. Mm-hmm. And rap music has flow to it. It has a cadence. You almost have what the music is doing with cadence, and then you've got what the music is doing, then you've got the cadence of the words and how they spit it. But I felt like there was a lot of breaks in this. Like they broke a lot of the phrases to where it distracted me of thinking about what's going on. Like I would forget what was said. Like with rap music, it's just over and over repetitive, but this is just different stuff in and out. And then they'll stop. I need a place. And then I'm just like, oh, I already forgot about what you said. But does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's a good commentary for, I guess, enjoying rock music in contrast to rap music, where the lyrics. I mean, hip hop artists and rappers, just to use it as an example. I mean, their their guitar playing, so to speak, is how well they can actually rap and they can flow.
Yeah.
They're judged by the words that they say. Whereas a rock band or any band that has instrumentation, as long as it's thought out and well thought out and it all goes together, it's made to be taken more, I think, as a whole, than in, you know what I mean, like in segments. And it's not just about the melody, the singing. It's not just about the lyrics. It's not just about the music. It's kind of how it all works together, I think. But you are right in the sense that this band, they do. And I think one thing that I respect about them, they respect themselves as musicians and let the music be just as much of a star of the show as the choruses and the hooks and this and that are. So
they're very strong.
But I don't mean to cut you off real quick. I do 100% agree and can see where that can be distracting from the short-term message. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
The long-term message is the fact that I can appreciate the song as a whole, as it's made. But the short-term is the fact that you're looking for something a little bit more memorable. And I see that 100%.
Yeah. And I guess I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to keep this one short because I feel like I could say the same thing for every song. Mm-hmm. Beautiful lyrics. It is a thinking man's record. Back of your head, hey, is it you that makes me hollow? Don't act the same. Cleaning out of a conscience. That's just 3 lines.
Right.
It's just like, wow, that is really deep. So you can't be doing other stuff while listening to this. It helps when I do read it while I listen to it. Right. So it does add to the experience of having the words in front of you, unless you just like that genre of music. But for me, I could say very deep lyrics. Some other songs that I liked was Cut Me Open. I thought that had good instrumentation and tempo switches. It has a nice little bridge with a tambourine. I think the song's too long, though. I think they should have landed it sooner. I'm Swimming. The song I'm Swimming, I loved the chorus. Loved the chorus, and I'm Swimming. Caught me swimming in a daydream. Caught me blocking out all of my past. But take me back and be my time machine. Show me the sky from a new perspective. Wow. Beautifully written. Much different than the shit that Drake was dropping down. I mean, this could be read in a poetry class.
Yeah.
Let me see. That's a no.
Can I throw out one quick thing too? I think this is kind of cool, and this is something they're kind of been gotten press for and stuff. But believe it or not, the lead singer of this band, the guy that writes all the lyrics, I think he's 23 or 24. So he's younger than we are, man. And I mean, he's like, I think that's really telling that he can write such. They're younger kids. When I say kids, I mean they're young adults making. The press for them is they're young adults making older people music, basically music for. I don't know. I guess I'll get more into that when I do my review. But they show a little bit more maturity than I think a lot of people their age that are making music do, at least in the rock music genre. But continue.
Yeah. So for me, overall, I respect them as musicians. Very, very talented writers. For me, I just didn't resonate as much with all of that combination together. So for my final grade, I give them a solid C. Solid C. And that's just all around with musicality, instrumentation, writing, performing. just being artists all around. Solid C, just me, how I resonate to it.
I think that's very generous of you, a very generous grade to give.
Well, I mean, you said it meant a lot to you, so I didn't want to. I don't want to be like.
Well, no, I mean, it means a lot to me, and I want you to give your honest opinion. So,
yeah,
if that is your honest opinion, then I definitely respect that. And I think one thing has to be.
It's not one that I would pick up on my own and listen to, or even choose to listen to myself. So
yeah, absolutely. And we've covered this before, but we do come from very differing backgrounds. And the cool thing about this podcast is hopefully, like Michael and I, people that listen to this might listen to something that they never had before. And again, like we've touched on multiple times, because you made this, you said this about crosses, and you said this about Childish Gambino, and about Kanye West, and I've said this before, that records really shouldn't be ultimately judged on whether you're going to listen to them on first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or even sixth listen. I mean, that it's a kind of music is a bigger picture of that. I mean, in all honesty, it's kind of fucking stupid that we're even reviewing these CDs, but we're doing it for content. So,
and we love doing it. I mean,
yeah.
This ends up coming up in conversation when we get together anyway. So,
yeah. Okay. Just in terms of where I'm at with this record, I will say, much like Michael, even though I was a big fan of this band and a big fan of their last CD, when I first listened to this record, I didn't really get it that much. I mean, it just wasn't all hitting there for me. So I can definitely, I'm definitely on board with Michael in terms of kind of that whole deal. But one thing that I will say, I kept giving it a chance, and I actually got a chance to go see them, as I mentioned last podcast. And if anybody out there,
sound different live?
They sounded incredible live. They're probably the best live band I've ever seen. But that goes more into experience too. I mean, I saw them in a room that maybe held 300 people max, very close knit, very intimate, and it was just a special show. It was just a really cool show. When you sing those lyrics, those beautifully written lyrics, and I'll go into this a little bit more in a second, but with rock music especially, and rap music, I don't want to just isolate it to this, but with music in general, it's important to take these, as you said about art earlier, art is supposed to invoke a response, emotion, a feeling out of somebody. And with music, I mean, people relate to lyrics, and when you relate to lyrics as beautifully written as these, and you go to a concert and you sing them, at the top of your lungs, and there's people all around you singing those lyrics along with you, it's a very special thing. So I'm a little bit more partial to this record because I got to see them perform it, and it was such a fun time. That trip was awesome. I went by myself, drove 3 hours by myself to a concert. I've never been to a concert by myself ever, and it was cool. It was just really cool. But so as Michael touched on, a lot of these lyrics are about relationships with women or men. I don't know.
Relationship, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, relationships with a significant other or with another individual, or even a relationship with the person himself. There's a lot of inner struggle going on this record, but just going through, I'm not going to go through every single track, but Parachutes, in terms of a first song, it's fast, it's heavy, it's aggressive. It's got some, not screamed vocals, because when I say scream vocals, that implies to me that there's not melody going on, but it's a very yelly vocal. Definitely, it's something you're not used to, might take some getting used to. But from the start of the record, you get the idea that they're there to rock. I mean, you know what I mean? It's aggressive. It's driving. It's lots of guitars. They actually have 3 guitar players in the band that creates this huge wall of distorted sound that's fucking pummeling your ears the whole time. So it can be abrasive, especially if it's something you're not sitting down to listen to. If it's something you're listening to while you're doing something else, it seems like it's like it's bothersome. It's bothersome
Yeah,
to the ear. It's
definitely.
like I've got this crazy shit going on in my ear that I'm not used to, so I'm trying to listen to it while I'm doing this other stuff. But the song, it's got some great lyrics. The opening line, "My vacant heart, the reason that you split into parts." Just kind of questioning his decisions on, where he's emotionally made his decisions, kind of raising some questions there. And I like the chorus. It's not really a chorus. There's the intro that kind of goes kind of crazy, and it's really screamed or yelled, and then it goes into this pre-chorus it kind of tones down. He kind of drops an octave in his vocals, and he almost speaks it. He says, "Parachutes to break my fall, tangled up beneath the clouds," and then it goes into the chorus. Just a lot of honesty there. Yeah, that's one thing
very honest.
That's one thing I appreciate about. It's one thing to write lyrics down, but it's another that are honest. But it's another thing to perform those lyrics in an honest manner. And you can definitely tell there's some emotion going on there when he's singing.
Are you crying?
Stuff like this. No, my eye is itching like a motherfucker.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. That me and you both know from writing songs that when you do write a song like that, you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're allowing people to get to know you in a different way, in a different light. Takes
definitely.
courage and bravery.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna skip through to a few songs, some high points. "Tiny Raindrop," you talked about that song. That's the second single off this record. It's a very catchy song. It has a very repetitive chorus. This song is interesting to me because I think ever since I started listening to the record, I've been trying to decide what he's talking about in terms of the narrative that he's painting this picture with. He's saying, "I'll be your tiny raindrop." He's saying me, the person singing, he's going to be the rain. He says stuff like, let's see. He's the rain covering a person. He's going to go get them a raincoat, though, to protect this person that he's singing to. He's going to protect them from him being the raindrop. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then he goes into, he says, he's the pillow and the blanket while you're sleeping, but you're just staring up at the ceiling. So that's kind of
a creeper image, huh? It's like reminds me of Apocalypse Now when he's staring at the ceiling fan and it's like a helicopter.
Well, I think to me he's basically saying, like, he's almost trying to protect this person that he's singing about from himself. You know what I mean? Like being
I get that.
The raincoat and whatnot. And he said, and then the line that throws me for a loop, he says, "I need you on my garments."
I was just going to mention that. I was looking at that. I'm just like, what is he?
Because
what do you think that means? I'm
wondering if maybe the roles have reversed there, because "I need you on my garments." It's like, who is he saying? I'm almost thinking he can't be talking about him because he's compared himself to rain. And I'm saying she has the raincoat on, but she, even though he's protecting her from himself, she needs him as the rain on him. I don't know. It's just more than anything, if you're watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, and you've listened to this record, I want you to go back and try to figure that out, because it's a weird line.
I think it just means that he like misses the smell of her. Like if she's like all up on him and like rubbing her scent on him, it's just like I think he misses that touch from her.
If
that smell,
I think that's a good
point. Smell.
I think it's a good point, but if that's the case and that's what he meant by that, then he fucked up the lyrics, because you can't go. Well, you can, but you can't go from.
Yeah, exactly. This deep metaphor.
You can't say I'm the rain, and you're this. You're this personified image. So, but now I'm going to switch the roles, and now I'm a personified image, and you know what I mean? And you're a non-personified image. You have to mean that if you're actually saying something like that.
Yeah, because then after that line, he says, "Come at me, horrid eyes that seep into my system." Well, now he's a system instead of rain. "Crush all and set on fire." So now we've got rain and fire and a system after the garments. It's just very all over the place.
Yeah, it tends to go from a really good metaphor to something where it sounds like he was trying to put words on paper to finish the song. So
I think this just speaks to the talent of the musicians and how talented they are, because the music will make up for it.
Going Along, Notice Me, that song. A lot of these songs, just in the way that they're delivered and the way they're played, the rhythms, the crunchy, heavy, thick guitars, and even some of the vocals, they remind me of Nirvana, man. Something about them. It's got a very Nirvana feel to it. It's just very nostalgic. And that comes up quite a bit, man. And even watching them, it almost reminded me of watching Nirvana or something like that.
Actually, I'm going to interrupt there. You know who I think, they reminded me of? Who the sound? It actually reminded me of the lead vocalist of "Oh Jerusalem."
Of me? That's ridiculous.
No,
I never did clean vocals at all.
It wasn't clean. It was when he was singing, like screaming/singing. It's kind of how you get that, because you kind of have a nice voice anyway, and when you get kind of screamy with it, it kind of has that abrasiveness to it. So it reminded me of that. It did sound a lot like you, I thought.
Okay, let's see. Going on, Notice Me. I thought that was a strange song.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
Just because some of the lyrics in this song, they're kind of silly, but it's a relationship song at its core. But I kind of like it because I've been in some shitty relationships where there's some games going on. He says, the evil games you love to play, don't give a shit. I'll take all the blame. Left me in the open, cut me deep, cut me right. It's obviously paying homage to a tricky relationship where games are played. Obviously, he's feeling a little bit victimized. Two more songs, and we'll wrap it up here. Reflection. That's actually the first single off this record. I love this song. Number one, because it's the first song that they play when they play live, and it's so good. It comes in with this guitar part, and it just breaks in so heavy. And that's one thing. Like if there's people out there that don't listen to heavy music or aggressive music or don't really understand it or get it, more than anything, lyrics, like people are saying, why do you like music with screaming? You can't even understand what they say. That's not what it's about. Like aggressive music is supposed to make you feel fucking pissed off, fucking angry.
Animalistic.
Exactly. It's supposed to invoke almost this an animalistic type of mentality where it gets you. The music is the forefront of hardcore metal, that type of music, and that's what I really like about it. I really like that aspect to it, that even though I don't know what they're saying and I can't understand them, that I can still feel like a certain way about it. It gets me going a little bit, but that's how Reflection is. It's a good song. It's got a few repeated choruses in it. I like the line burn all the wreckage and start it all over. It's some good imagery, thoughtful lyrics. But the last song I want to talk about, and I actually texted you, Michael, a little bit about this, is the song "Enemy." It's probably my favorite song on the record because it's a good song. It's kind of slow and mellow, and it's got some really interesting lyrics. The whole of the song, he's kind of talking about this kind of battle he's going back with of being religious, so to speak, where he's doubting God, he's angry at God, he argues with God, but he still acknowledges the fact that he needs him sometimes. He needs this idea of God in his life to get him through hard times. So it's kind of like, well, I need you, but I still think you're kind of shitty sometimes. And it's apparent when he says, I thought I heard you sitting up there in the clouds. I'm fading out. That's fine. Won't you shine right on me? And towards the end of the song, it kind of goes into this kind of back and forth idea where he's basically relying on God, but that he's struggling with and he's questioning. He says, let's see. He says, enemy, you're my only enemy, and you're only steadying my pain, and you always let it rain. But then he talks too about how he needs him to wash away the blood red stain and stuff like that. So I just think that's kind of interesting that he goes into that whole conflict between this godlike figure and that he's having these struggles. But bottom line, I love this record. It was actually my album of the year last year. I don't do this a lot, but I do give it, I'm not going to give it an A plus, but I would give it an A. I like records like this. There's not a lot of bands out there that are doing this type of style where it's like kind of this straightforward rock with an aggressive edge that has this almost kind of old school, at least in this genre, old school, honest type of lyrics and stuff. There's some bands out there that are like it, but
yeah,
I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy the record. It's right up my alley. So
well, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the song "Enemy." Your analysis on that, I completely went the other way.
yeah,
As I just viewed it as a guy is in a shitty relationship with a girl and he hates it, but he doesn't have the courage to get out of it. He just stays in it and doesn't get out. I didn't get any of this God or deity stuff that you did out of that. I just took that at face value as like, oh, he wants to get out. He knows he could get out, but he doesn't. He chooses not to. That kind of transitions me into the next question. I watched an interview with the band. I knew nothing about this band before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched a little interview with them, and they said people who see us live say that we sound completely different live than we do on the CD itself. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if I saw them live, if I would have liked the album better. And I think I would. And that's my question to you. Do you think seeing them live would make me like it better?
Yeah, I mean, for the sole fact that I think, I mean, you've gone with me to hardcore and metal shows when that's not up your alley at all.
When I hated them.
Exactly.
But I appreciate the live musicianship.
Exactly. And I think you probably would have ventured back to it and probably enjoyed it a little bit more. But honestly, when I recommended this album to you, I knew that it really wasn't up your alley, but I wanted to show our viewers that we can present diversity and we're not always going to agree on stuff. So, but and I think I know the interview that you're talking about. I think more what they were speaking to was in terms of the quality in which they performed compared to their record, because on their first record, it was done, almost the entire thing was done in a digital recording way where everything was very crisp, very clean, very edited, and this and that. But live, there was almost this more raw, more natural feel. Yeah, more natural feel. So people would say that, they say, wow, the stuff sounds completely different than on your record, but they wanted to capture that on the second record, the one that you just listened to. So they actually recorded the entire record to tape, analog style, old school style. They didn't chop it up and all that stuff. So I think that's more what they were talking about, not so much as that they sound like a completely different band, just maybe
it did mention a different feel than their previous album.
Yeah. So that's it for album reviews. What are you gonna have me listen to this week for the next podcast?
For the next podcast, I kind of had a few in mind, but based on our conversation and your analysis of Enemy, the album I'm choosing for you is Jay-Z Magna Carta / Holy Grail.
Oh wow, that's awesome, because I actually haven't listened to that record yet.
Now
I haven't heard any songs off that record. So I'm very excited to listen.
Well, you're in for a treat, my friend. I'm going to mirror your message to me last time. Pay attention to the lyrics.
Okay.
Not
be an issue.
Yeah. Jay-Z just really does some cool rhymes, and I definitely do think you'll think he's much deeper than Worst Behavior.
Yeah, gotcha. So my record for you, I don't have the record here like I did Balance, Composure, or Crosses, but I'm going to have you listen to The Neighborhood. I Love You. It's they're a California-based band right in your neck of the woods. Not the deepest lyrics, but they bring something different to the table on all ends of the spectrum. At their very core, they're a pop band, but maybe along the lines of R&B. But there's something different about them, and I'm not quite sure what it is. And I'm hoping that a closer look through the In the Galaxy magnifying glass will reveal what that is exactly to me. So,
yeah, I'm curious to partake.
And you listened to them before, right?
In California with my toes in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig that song. I agree with you. There is something different when I heard that. I'm just like, damn, I like that a lot. I think it has to do with syncopation in the higher pitch when it's got a basic drum, but it's got that dot 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 upbeat feel, to it.
Yeah, I think more than anything,
that song,
and we'll touch on it obviously when we record them, is
touch
in the way that they package themselves as a band, like the music, the delivery, the singing style. It's just, I don't know. It's just something that's different. I don't know. Something's different about it. I don't know. We'll get to it. But have you heard the whole record before?
I have not.
Okay.
It's
a good record. I enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Good. All right. Well, do you want to touch on anything else besides ourselves?
I would want to touch you, but you're in Kentucky and I'm in California, so I think that's it for this week. You got anything else to add, Brother May?
I don't, man. Check out In the Galaxy podcast. We're going to work hard to get it up in audio form as well as video form, but that'll come in short time. We know it's asking a lot to sit through however many hours
2-hour podcast
on YouTube. We know that's asking a lot of people to do that via video, where if it was audio, they could pause it and listen to it in multiple sittings, but we'll get there for you. Yeah,
that's right. Well, I think I'm going to close this out. This is another episode of In the Galaxy podcast. Thank you, Jay Williams, as always, and we're going to come back next week with our analysis on The Neighborhood and Jay-Z, and we're going to talk about more technology, maybe even touch on Steve Jobs. But thank you very much, Gilky Way Galaxy Productions. See you next week.
Take care. Bye.